By 1981, we were spending a lot of time between New York and Paris. Indoor Life was my band. Patrick was touring a lot, but I'd heard that he'd been getting ill. And a mutual friend of ours in 1981 actually called me and said, I think you better come out because they don't know what he has, but he may not survive. So I went to San Francisco in 1981 to see him. I stayed in his apartment. I went to see him in the hospital. And I really didn't believe that whatever he had, and I say whatever he had because this was before AIDS had a name. Had been identified. So it really was a mystery. The doctors had no idea what he had. As it would turn out, historically, he would be one of the first cases of documented AIDS before it had a name. So I just thought it was, I didn't know what it was. The doctors had all these crazy ideas, but I went to see him in the hospital and made him laugh a lot, which he said hurt because I would make him laugh. And he said it hurts what I thought. But I think that was because I didn't really think it was anything that tragic. And he did have a recovery period where he was able to tour some more. But then he had, I think, the final big spiral down, and in 82 he died. And at that point, I was really busy with Indoor Life. He had already even more success with his Megatron man song, his Megatron music, and his family were in his estate, part of his estate will, and I felt very weird at the time about going to them and saying, oh, we have this master tape, I would like that, that's our collaboration. I think they were very sensitive. I understood about his estate, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I just thought it wasn't something I felt comfortable with. So I thought, you have the cassette versions, so just let it go and just carry on with my band. And that's what happened. And I would think sometimes, I wish I'd gotten the master tapes. I go, maybe someday. But time goes by and years go by, and that never happened. I never really pursued it. And I had the cassettes that I thought, this is a really odd thing, and it's great that I have it. And 25, 26, 27 years go by. And it was only a few years ago that I even realized that there was new interest in Patrick's music coming from a whole new generation of DJs and music listeners. And I accidentally came upon a website from Daniel Heinzman in Argentina, of all places, who was a huge Patrick Cowley fan. He had constructed this beautiful tribute of a website to him. I had to get in touch with him just because I was so moved. And to tell him about this other aspect that he didn't know about and no one knew about. I said, well, we actually made music together that was totally different from all this other stuff. And he was very excited. He added some notes about it. But the main thing is that was my eye-opener. I realized, wow. So, he said to me, yeah, there's all these people here who are really into his music. And another year or so go by, and I had more evidence of that. As recently as a year ago, in New York, at a loft party, running into a couple of young guys in Patrick Cowley t-shirts. One of them turned out to be a DJ and huge fans of his. And just started getting the sense that, Patrick was around again. And it was shortly after that, while traveling in South America. And by the way, Patrick, Indoor Life was long done. I had, in 1987, stopped being with the band, so I was not really working in music anymore. But I got I heard from a couple of people that someone in Germany, some guys in Germany or someone in Germany was trying to get a hold of me. And I assumed it had something to do with Indoor Life because there were a lot of Indoor Life postings on the web and there was always some interest coming out. So I was really surprised when I got an email. I forgot if the first email was from Finn Johansson and or Stefan Goldman or both of them, but basically saying, we have this master tape of Catholic. It has you and Patrick Cowley's names on it. And I just couldn't conceive, especially I was in Buenos Aires or Rio at the time, so I couldn't even begin to ask, how did you get these tapes? I said, when I get back to New York, we'll get in touch. That's wild. And that's a long serendipitous story, which I still find kind of incredible. But the short of it is that the tapes have been passed on to Finn and Stefan, who totally appreciated the material and were very excited about it and wanted to release it. And it just seemed somehow very timely. It's like, oh yeah, of course. This, some things just take longer. They get it, so now it should be released. And that's why I'm here talking about this project with Stefan and Finn. And there's a lot more detail, of course, to how the tape ended up in their hands, but that's a story for another. That works better over a glass of wine.